So it begins. Welcome back. We are episode 12 now of Bit Bar, and we're loading up, actually getting ready to unload the van full of red tent parts. And they're all the way in the back. I know the light's going to be crap for this, but figured I want to get a shot of all this stuff stuffed into the van. Anyway, so we're going to be moving stuff into the shop here behind me, which, as you can see, is a car shop. All right, so we are in the booth now. As you can see, we've got parts masked up, laid out on tables. So yeah, we've got everything lined up here, up on stands, and we're visited again by our friend Sam. Sam, how you doing?
Good.
So this is what you do every day, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of sanding too.
A lot of sanding, I hear. Yeah. Yeah, sanding. So steps, like what are we basically like? What are we going to accomplish here tonight? So we've got everything, like I said, like lined up. We've got stuff masked off. We're all ready to start working. But what's the actual job now?
So what we're going to be doing is we were trying to figure out different ways that we wanted to apply a finish to this, as far as like which type of paint finish that we wanted to use, and we elected to use base coat, clear coat. So it's going to give it the most amount of shine. It's an automotive, finish, so it's going to be basically finished like a car. So.
And we're talking about the other option was a single stage.
Single stage, which was obviously there's no clear coat involved. It's all combined into one type of paint. You know what I mean? So you just apply that like you would a clear coat, and it's black and it's shiny and stuff like that. But it's cool. But yeah, we just selected this just because it's going to be a little bit easier to do. The single stage is kind of harder to get. Some states won't even let you spray it. Actually.
And you said it was a little bit more expensive too.
A little bit more expensive actually. It was cheaper to do the base coat, clear coat in this situation. So.
And about the same amount of work, or there's more work involved in the base coat, clear coat?
It's just an extra step in the base coat, clear coat.
Because you got to actually lay down clear.
Yeah,
right.
You have to lay down clear and stuff. But
so
I'm glad we decided to do that. I think it's going to look a lot better. So.
Yeah. So steps, I guess. So first thing we're going to do is we got to lay down a sealer.
We're going to put down a sealer. So Andrew went ahead in his previous videos, the Fantastic ones. Andrew went ahead and did all the body work on these. He primed them. So what we're going to do now, and there's some spots where it's broken through and stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put an extra layer of protection called a sealer. So we're going to put the sealer down, and that's going to make this all one uniform color, and it's going to fill any little imperfections that might still be in here. But we have it all sanded down with 500 on a DA, so it's pretty smooth. It's pretty good. We filled any little chips with putty and stuff so that we can kind of get a uniform and smooth finish.
Beautiful. So step one, sealer, which is basically, you said it's got watered down primer. It's kind of like
it's a reduced primer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a reduced primer. So we put a little bit of reducer in it, thins it down, and then it lays down smooth and makes it all one uniform color. So that when we put the black on top of that, we don't have to worry about anything is showing through. But most importantly, like I said, it adds an extra layer of protection, and it also fills any little imperfections that'll be there too. So
nice.
We might have missed.
All right, so we
cleaned it with wax and grease.
Yeah, we already hit it with the wax and grease remover. Rubbed all of the parts down. So now, what are you doing?
I'm just tagging it off, getting any of the debris, dirt, whatever that might be left on here after we cleaned it with the wax and grease. If you start getting dirt in this stage, you're going to get dirt in the next stage, and you're going to get dirt in the next stage.
Right.
You can kind of bury the dirt a little bit with the clear coat, but I mean, obviously, the less dirt you have in your finish,
the better, right?
And the less work that you're going to have to do later on. We won't be polishing this or anything like that, but you still want it to come out kind of nice,
Sure, and I think they usually say like basically a good paint job is all in the prep work. It's
as you know.
Yes, less about the actual paint, and that's obviously that's an important step, but all the prep work, good quality prep work, is what makes a good finish.
And normally, we'd be wearing a paint suit if we were painting a car.
Right, yeah, that's a good point.
Reminds me of the dry cleaner.
Dry cleaner, yeah.
So, when we're blowing up, we make sure to blow ourselves off, you know, so because most of the debris that you get in the paint job is from the painter.
Interesting, right.
He brings it in with him, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So just using the air from the gun in your tack rack, and the air from the gun is knocking the any debris or whatever up, and then we're just picking it up. So you're only going to tack it before your sealer, after your sealer, when you put your base coat on, after your base coat, but you're not going to tack it, obviously, once you start putting your clear coat on there.
Right.
You don't want to put this in your clear coat, that's going to make a mess.
Oh, but you can do it on the paint.
You can do it on the base coat, yeah.
The base
base coat flashes, it dries off, and you can remove any dirt. You can sand out your dirt at that point too. If you have little dirt nibs, you can come back with some 1000 grit and sand it out. Just so you don't have those nibs in there, so you get a smoother finish.
That's a good point, like how we prepare it. The gun obviously has pressure, so we have had to, the smaller pieces, make sure that they're back masked as well as stable. So we built these little houses for them, you know, just have got the spacers underneath, and then parts sitting on top, and the insides were all back masked here, so we're not filling the inside with overspray.
And normally we would probably hang these, but we just don't have that ability to do that right now. So the reason that we got it up off the back, we're not painting the back of these, because we're not painting the inside of the cabinets. So we have it up off the paper because we don't want, we have it back masked, the back of these, because we don't want this to be put on the ground and then it's a bridge, especially once we start clear coating the bridge, which means the paint from the drawer will touch the paper and it could possibly rip off something.
Right, as you pick it up.
As you pick it up, we don't want to do that. So that's why we have it propped up off the paper. A little wobbly, like it a little bit more stable, but it should be alright. Hey, this one's really good. That's the one Andrew did. Believe it or not. And I do it for the.
Yeah, but I built all the bases.
You did.
So,
you did a good
but
job.
the wobbly bases is my fault.
Alright, man. We doing this?
All right, is this time?
Yeah, we're going to do fun.
All right. So I'm not going to be able to talk much while he's working because the booth's got big fans in here to move the air through. So I'm mostly going to kind of like just sort of step back and sort of get a good shot as far away as I can so I'm not getting paint all over the camera. All right, so we're gonna mix some color now that we've got the sealer down. So now we gotta mix black, ebony black. So we just actually decided to use a couple of sort of off-the-shelf colors. So we got ebony black and was it Viper red?
Yeah, Viper red.
So we're
These
doing
were only what, $20?
it's just $20 for a quart, something like that. Yeah, actually I think the receipt should be in there.
Yeah, $20 for a quart, so it's pretty cheap. I mean, with automotive paint, you can spend thousands of dollars on your base coats and your clear coats. Like we did a Porsche 914. The materials alone, just the base coat, we used to get Glazerin, which was like special order for Germany, and then the clear coat was $4,000 alone.
Just materials?
Just the materials.
Oh
just,
my God.
Just the two materials. So I mean, you can get your economy stuff, you can get your ultra high-end stuff. So,
and is it that you get into like the ultra high-end stuff? Is that like just the custom colors? Or?
I mean, if you use like custom colors like House of Color, or if it's like a 3-stage or a candy or like the Evanescence or whatever it's called, Everessence, the color shifting colors and the chromes and all that stuff. Yeah, it's ridiculous. People don't understand that the materials in this industry are insane. Right. So when they're upset that they can't paint their car for $500, they don't realize that the materials in this industry are insane. So that being said, you go to like Maaco or El Shibe and they can paint your car for $700, but you get what you pay for. Believe me when I tell you that. So we're laying down
$2,000 paint on the red tints, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. A special order from Germany.
German,
Special.
Japanese special mix of black here.
Right. No, so black is black, man. And
right.
like I said, we decided we were going to do a 2-stage and stuff. So we decided to just go get some off-the-shelf black, And then we did the same thing with red. We just picked a really nice, vibrant,
good rich red, yeah.
Good rich red.
And I know that the red tints, they're actually a little bit paler. They've got maybe a little bit, almost kind of a heading towards pink.
Yeah.
So these are going to be not quite totally perfect factory matches.
Right.
We didn't get like paint chips and go
we
crazy
didn't
like
do
that. But the reds that we're laying down here should be a good, beautiful, vibrant red. And
plus, we're texturing the top of the cabinets, which I've seen cabinets that are textured. I've seen ones that aren't. And I don't know if that's because people sand them down. Do they come from the factory textured? Or do you know?
It's a factory texture on the red.
It's a factory texture.
Yeah.
But then the ones that I've seen where they don't have the texture, is it somebody's just sanding them down
or
and decided to refinish it?
Point. Yeah, probably.
Okay. So we're going to try to mimic the texture for
and
that.
Probably from the factory, too. Just from the different parts that I had, they all had a slightly different texture to them.
Oh, really?
Like piece to piece. Like they'd match like tent to tent, they'd be the same. But between the tents, the earlier ones I think were a little bit heavier textured. And that's assuming, I'm making some assumptions based on what I found too, because the parts that I got, I mean, who knows if those are the original tents, the red parts that were on the early cabinet that I've got, I don't know. But it seemed like that one definitely had more texture to it on the earlier ones.
So here's our black. It's not brown. Sorry, John. You're my hero. You're actually my hero. But anyway, that's our black. And then we're just going to go ahead and mix this 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. They give us a choice. If you want to do normal, you do 1 part color, 1 part reducer. If you want to do a better hide, you do 2-part color, 1 part reducer. I think we're just going to go ahead and do 1-to-1. We're going to do 2 to 3 coats of this anyway, so we might as well just do 1-to-1. Whatever.
And we should have plenty.
Yeah, we should have plenty. We got 2 of these. This should be enough because it reduces really well. Actually, you know what? I think let's do 2-to-1. That way we get more. No, 1-to-1. Yeah, we'll do 1-to-1. That way we get more bang for our buck out of this. So you just look on the cup and you just look for your 1-to-1. You got your 4 here. You can obviously, if you just want to use the ounces, you can just go 5 to 10, which is what I think we'll do. That's 1-to-1.
Right.
So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stir this. Make sure we get it nice and stirred up. All right, so we got our paint all stirred up. Go ahead and pour it in the mixing cup. We're going to do 5 parts black, or 1 part, 1-to-1, 5 ounces. Still got more than half left. 2-to-1 will cover better, and then we're using medium reducer. You can use it slow, you can use it fast, depending on the temperature. It's pretty warm in here. It's not warm like hot. It's room temperature, so we're just going to go ahead and use medium.
And the reducer does what?
It just makes it so it flows through the gun better.
Right, because if you didn't reduce it, you couldn't shoot that soupy stuff through the gun. Yeah.
It's so thick. Yeah. And you know, this gun is set up with a 1.4 air cap on it tip. When you're spraying thicker materials, you use a gun with a bigger tip. So like when we prime, we use a gun with a 2.0 tip on it, and that allows more material to move through it. The sealer, we used a 1.4 because it's reduced primer. So it just needs to flow nice. You know, we're not trying to high build, you know, cover anything. You know, it's just like I said, just trying to form a barrier. So.
And does the paint technique differ depending on what you're shooting, or is it still the same basic technique?
It does differ depending on what you're shooting. Like you would not shoot a base coat like you would a clear coat. You would not shoot a base coat or a sealer like you would a primer. You know, it's a little bit different.
And is that to do with the speed that you move in, or how?
Yeah, the speed depending on what you're trying to get. Like when you're primering, you want to build material, so you're going to go slower.
Right.
You can turn your pressure down a little bit so that it builds, because you're going to sand that. You want it so you can use it as a leveling compound. Same thing with clear. Clear, you want to put a nice thick layer on there, so you're going to slow down a little bit.
Right.
You can turn your air pressure up a little bit, but with these, you just want to cover. You're not trying to build a layer, so you would just go like we did with the sealer, you know, pretty quickly. You know, just make sure that you get good overlap so you don't get tiger stripes. Tiger stripes, you know, is where you get the lines.
Right.
You
is
see
that like
that
too
with
much
metallics.
overlap, or is that not enough overlap?
That would be not enough overlap.
Okay.
So you're getting gaps in between your thing, your layers and things. So, anyways, we're all mixed up, man. So let's put this in the gun and shoot some color, man.
All right. All right, so as you can see, we now have red parts in the booth. And we're getting ready to start with the first step of this, which is we're going to lay down a little bit of texture. The red parts, unlike the black, there's a certain kind of grainy texture to them. So we've got a aerosol-based texture, which is by 3M here, rocker panel coating. 3M part number 0889, in case you're curious. And what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and lay a real thin coat of this stuff down on all the surfaces of these parts. We've masked off the mating surfaces, so the places where the tents, the angle parts, when they fold down into here, we've masked these off because we don't want texture in the hair. But once we get done with texture and that's all dried and flashed, we will pull this mask off of these parts and everything's getting painted freshly red. So yeah, that's where we're at, back in the booth. The black parts, my lovely assistant Sam here is holding. They're a little bit dusty, but as you can see, they turned out freaking sweet. So just beautiful near mirror finish on these guys. They look absolutely gorgeous. So I can't wait to see what the red's gonna look like. Let's find out. All right, so I said we're gonna start by laying this stuff down, and all we're really gonna be doing is some real light coats. On these guys, you can go heavier with it if you really want more texture, but the factory texture is actually pretty light. What we just kind of figured out here as we're playing with it a little bit is you actually want to dust it a little bit at an angle, and you get a really nice kind of even sort of spray finish over the top of it. But I wonder, should we do it like down? Probably down.
Maybe go this way, see what happens, yeah.
So, you think like down this way?
Yeah, go this way.
Across? Yeah, okay. So,
longer strokes are better.
Longer strokes, yeah.
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 Hit it from the side.
Yeah.
Come to the side, there you go. There you go. I put on a little bit more wet than that.
Yeah.
To your desired texture, if you want more than that.
Right, no, I like that. That's turned out great.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's a super nice, even finish like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They put a little bit more right here. There you go. Good.
She's probably wearing respirators. This definitely has some funk to it. That's beautiful. That's definitely the trick. We tried actually with a test piece over there. We tried kind of more shooting straight down, and kind of like you're painting like with spray paint. But that angle that Sam discovered when he was running it back on the test piece, yeah, just laid down, just perfect, beautiful. So that's it. That's the trick. we have everything sealed and we're getting ready to lay down some color. This is very, very exciting. So this stuff is all flashed and ready to go. And red, beautiful.
Pretty close to it.
It's real damn close.
We compared it to the inside of the cabinet.
Right.
It's a little bit darker, but
it's
first
just
saw color, I mean, it's pretty damn close.
Right, and this is what we call it, Viper red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Viper red.
Yeah, it's like we were like Sam was just saying. We compared it actually the color that we were getting out of it on the stick to the inside of one of the cabinets parts that we have not done anything with, and the color was real close, just ever so slightly darker. But I think it's going to turn out gorgeous. All right, here we go with red. Alright, so we finished the first coat, which is just real lightly dusting, just adding a little bit of color to it. The next coats we do will have much better coverage. And the purpose of the first coat, the light coat, is to give it some tack?
Yeah, just give some tack and just give a little bit of cover. Just
right.
It's kind of like a cover coat, you know. You don't have to go too crazy on it, you know, as far as, but you want it to cover, you know.
Right.
You don't have to, you know, completely cover it. So we can build our layer up. Because we want to do, we mixed this, we did the black, we mixed that 1-to-1, remember?
Right.
So this one we did 2-to-1.
So that's 2 parts paint, 1 part reducer.
Because we wanted to get better coverage with this. So we're hoping we can do 2 coats of this, so it'll cover a lot better.
Right.
Just because it's red as opposed to the black and gray sealer that we did. So.
And is the color of the sealer a little bit the darker sealer that we used? Is that affecting the color of the red at this point a little bit? Mm-hmm. Right. So when we lay it down, the next coat, that'll probably brighten it just a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then the clear coat that we're going to lay down after that will probably bring out some serious shine.
Yeah, it's going to pop.
Right. But so far they're looking really damn good. And I'll tell you what, it's so exciting seeing red back on these things again. I am one happy guy. All right, here we go. Coat number 2. done painting, and here we are. Basically, this is all of the red parts for one red tent. So these turned out fantastic. I've got a little bit of, sorry, they're a bit dusty. They've been in the garage for a while. I've got a little bit of work to do to polish a few parts up. Just a little bit. Not gonna go, don't need to go crazy on them as far as the polishing, but yeah, no, these things turned out pretty good. I'm very happy. You know, thanks again to Sam for his shop and his expertise and all of his help. I mean, you know, these things, they just they turned out beautiful. These will make fantastic players' games. Yeah, very well pleased. So, next step's really going to be starting to put these things together. I've got a couple of monitors that I've been having some troubles with. I'm really suspect about the flybacks, the replacement flybacks I've got for these things. But I will start tackling that probably offline and maybe report back what is going on with them and then how I'm going to try and fix them. So leave that for maybe a short follow-up video, but paint looks freaking awesome. I'm super stoked. You know, the texture on the red portions turned out beautiful. The black just looks gorgeous. I can't wait to start getting these things put together. You know, as far as the rest of the garage and other parts, you can see here I've got what's practically a red tent assembly line. And again, all these parts turned out gorgeous. I am super pleased. But yeah, I need to get to work here. I've got a lot of assembly to do and some monitor issues to deal with. So yeah, back to work for me. You know, and you may have noticed when I swung around here, I do have a new red addition to the garage. A couple of you have asked about it since I posted here and there in Cloth. So yeah, yes indeed, we have a beautiful red Donkey Kong that still has the original red finish on it with a couple blemishes here and there, but generally it's in really fantastic shape. I love actually the fact that it's got some little dings here and there, but it's still so nice. It's a 5-slot for the speaker grill there. It does have the repro art on it. You know, side art here is obviously not original. That's okay, that doesn't bother me so much. I'm not sure, I need to kind of double check, but I think that the bezel and the control panel overlay, I think these might also be reproductions, or if they are originals, actually, you know, that marquee looks like it might be original. Anyway, so yeah, so that's my new addition. I've got some great projects that we've got to do on this guy, and of course my blue Donkey Kong, which I've had for quite some time. That's a beautiful Japanese cabinet. It's in great restored shape, but that one's gonna have to move on to a new home. So it's a shame to see that one go, but we'll have some projects. I've got my switcher, my Vector Labs 4-in-1 switcher that's in that thing. That's going to come out because I'm not going to sell it with all the parts for that. It's going to go back to being an original Donkey Kong without high score save, with none of that stuff. I'm not going to sell that with it. And yeah, so that's going to be a little project to get all that stuff pulled out. And I want to put the 4-in-1 switcher in my red guy here. And that way we'll have you know, the original Donkey Kong with a high score save and D2K on it on one board. We'll have Donkey Kong Jr. on it as the second board, Donkey Kong 3 as the third board, and then a fourth board, which I've got some plans for, but I haven't figured out exactly what that's going to be. But a fourth board, which will also be totally appropriate for something that's in this cabinet with these controls. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the time in the booth. That was a lot of fun. Again, thanks again to Sam for all of his help. And subscriptions, likes, all the rest of that is most appreciated. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.